biggest and most explosive revelation as the focus is on the July 20th crackdown. Times Now has accessed details of the police's general diary entry, and some sensational revelations have been made. This GD entry now records the usage of pellet guns. So if there was any kind of doubt, we had the visuals, if there was any denial, right now the police diary goes ahead and details pellet firing. And this is police's own records that are speaking. Let's go across to Bhavtoj. Bhavtoj, you've accessed the most explosive details so far. And what the general diary entry records gives out the full story. Break down all those details for viewers who are joining us on this broadcast.
Sagarika, in fact, we have accessed the general diary which was made at Parliament Street Police Station on 21st July. That was hours after the violent incidents that happened in New Delhi. Now, the general diary does mention the firing that was carried out by the Rapid Action Force. It mentions that a DCP rank officer of the Delhi Police gave instructions to the Rapid Action Force personnel who were present at in New Delhi, and they were what happened was that Rapid Action Force used 55 non-electrical shells, which could be in form of tear gas, 15 electrical, 5 tear smoke grenade, 2 ARG and 2 PP. Now, ARG stands for anti-riot gun. This general diary entry was made at around 1:24 a.m. That's on 21st July. And this entire controversy, in fact, led to a war of words between opposition and center. The center has officially not said anything. Even CRP has completely remained mum as far as this controversy is concerned. But Times Now has, in fact, accessed all the documents. Now, this document clearly shows that on the direction of the DCP, who was present at the spot, the direction was given. On his direction, the Rapid Action Force personnel fired this pellet gun, and that, in fact, led to serious injuries to some of the victims. Right. In fact, 5 of them received these injuries.
All right. I want you to stay with us, Bhavtoj, because today, when the opposition continues mounting pressure on the government over the use of pellet guns, over the use of brutal force on protesters on the day of the Chalo Sansad March, this general diary entry, which means this is the police's own record, which speaks for itself. So questions earlier were raised, and right now it has been recorded beyond doubt that yes, pellet guns were fired. We have those visuals, but now we know that it was done possibly on the orders. The RAF fired these used pellet guns on the orders of a DCP. More questions now are mounting for the Delhi police. So let's once again break down the details that you've accessed. Dr. Vikram Singh is also with us on the phone line. Dr. Singh, Times Now has now accessed an official general diary entry from the day, which is July 20th. And as per this general diary entry, which was recorded on 1:24 a.m. at the Parliament Street Police Station, documents are showing that at the directions of the Delhi police, the RAF personnel fired pellet guns as a part of crowd control measures. For viewers joining us on this broadcast, can you explain to us when are such orders given? And can the Delhi police now explain why such orders were given?
Good morning. This is on very expected lines, and this is a part of the police use of force protocol. And I'm happy that you have put an end to all kind of speculation and wild guesses, as also fake news and deep fake news. The DCP ordered the firing of pellet rounds, and this is absolutely the SOP that the senior most officer present on the spot orders the firing and also specifies the number of rounds to be fired, and if there is an opportunity also to pinpoint on whom it is to be fired and where would be below the waist or whatever. But the GD entry goes to show that there was no hanky-panky, but yes, the delay was best avoided. Whenever the questions was raised, it is always better to come out with the basic facts based on documentation. And you have elaborated very specifically that the GD entry at 1:24 a.m. also names the DCP as also the RAF. Therefore, no cause of speculation. It is something like an algorithm that 2 + 2 is equal to 4, and neither 3.5 nor 4.5. Therefore, I'm happy that you have cleared the dust and the smoke that was being created by vested interest. And the use of pellets also is use of a firearm.
But does this, Mr. Singh, I want to understand, because we've been seeing the kind of, politics that's playing out. The opposition has been unsparing on the government. Can you also explain to us, the opposition is saying, why did it have to come to this point? Why was the use of pellet guns authorized?
My God, 125 police personnel bashed up, brutalized women police, misbehaved with and battered, 25 police vehicles torched, wanton destructions of property. Do you think the police, I think they were lucky that it was only ended up to the pellets.
All right.
It could have gone from bad to worse. I salute the patience of the Delhi police.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Singh, for joining us on this broadcast. So there you heard a former copper actually once again trying to explain why this decision was taken. But Madhav, if there was any doubt till yesterday, yes, there were questions on who authorized it. Today, we have accessed the details of a general diary entry, which means it is written in black and white in police records. We know the time. We know where the recording was made, at the Parliament Street Police Station, 1:24 a.m. It has been recorded that pellets were used, pellet guns. That order was given by the DCP. What does this mean now? What are going to be the larger implications?
Well, there are 3 or 4 important things that we have to get our facts right on. One, that the specific ammunition or the equipment that was used by the Delhi police includes the DCP rank officer of the Delhi police giving instruction to fire 55 non-electric shells, 15 electrical shells, 5 tear smoke grenades, 2 anti-riot guns, and 2 PP or plastic pellet guns. So the specifics of what was the armaments that were used, what is the kind of guns that were used, etc., has been specifically mentioned in the general diary entry. So this puts to rest all the speculation. Point number 2. Why has Delhi police, which at least 5 or 6 occasions to the best of my memory, has put out tweets, has put out posts on social media denying the use of plastic pellet guns? Why has it done so? Because this raises some very serious questions about what really was the Delhi police doing. Why were there no official press conferences, no official briefings? And if there are tweets of the Delhi police denying the use of pellet guns, why is its own general diary entry saying exactly the opposite? And this is absolutely mind-boggling. Has somebody in the Delhi police deliberately tried to mislead the public or the media as far as the use of pellet guns is concerned? Why has there been no transparency as far as Delhi police is concerned? These are some very, very serious and fundamental questions. Because remember, on the first day, that is the 20th, when the violence started, when the Parliament Chalo, the Sansad Chalo march was given, clearly things went out of hand as far as the police is concerned, and that's why you have these kind of instructions giving. Now, if this DCP rank official has given instructions of firing of plastic pellet guns, then how is it possible that the Delhi police itself did not know? Did the higher-ups of Delhi police not know? Was it only this DCP who was acting on his own volition, who at that spot decided that, yes, pellet guns, which have even been stopped using in Jammu and Kashmir, as we all know, even over there now these pellet guns are not used, have suddenly decided to open fire with these plastic pellet guns? There are too many questions that now are going to be facing the Delhi police. It is best that the Delhi police comes clean now, issues a public statement, and apologizes for the use of pellet guns, because the matter has now reached Supreme Court. There are several officials, including former police officials, who have approached the court and have petitioned against the use of pellet guns.
And so it is, Madhav, the police's own record, this general diary entry, the police's own record that is countering its initial denial. And that is why more questions are going to be asked. We also have Priyank joining us on this broadcast. Priyank, for viewers joining us on this broadcast, explain to us the specifics of the general diary entry that today contradict the initial denials made by the Delhi police on the use of pellet guns.
See, Sagarika, we were the only channel who managed to have a conversation with one of the victims in this case, whose upper body was filled with those sharp nails injury, which had caused multiple kind of traumatic experience to the victim. Time and again, the agencies have been trying to shift their onus to the other one, and this is what can be seen in this particular document. It is for sure that the deployment was called in by the Delhi police, so they were the main custodian of this law enforcement program, which was being launched by the Delhi police officials. As an additional force, the paramilitary forces as well as the RAF was called in by the Delhi police official. It's a part of the SOP, Sagarika, that any kind of action which is being taken on the ground could be taken on the behest of the officers who are in charge, and that means the local police officers. The general diary entry is also specifically mentioning that how the RAF has categorically mentioned that it was on the orders of the DCP of Delhi police, who was deployed at that particular location. Had ordered this firing. Let me tell you to our viewers that the DCP himself is injured, Sagrika. It's a matter of internal inquiry. That's why we are awaiting the official confirmation regarding the police accepting his name or not. But the fact of the matter is that this particular IPS officer who was on duty at that particular time had ordered this particular firing on the RAF side, which was near the Jantar Mantar. The DCP himself got injured, but the action which has been taken by RAF will be also mentioned in the inquiry report by the Delhi police itself. Sagrika.
Truth withheld. Why were there claims? Madhav, that is one question that everyone will ask. Why is it that despite the questions, despite the video evidence, despite the victim testimony, why was the truth withheld? Why were there multiple claims made that no, initially it was said that no, this never happened. So what are the questions that the Delhi police now has to answer?
Fact of the matter that they failed to control the crowd. It's a matter of...
In fact, as Priyank has spoken to one of those pellet gun victims, and last Thursday, Times Now has put out that particular interaction as well. He met the victims. We showed the pellet gun injuries. There is also a medical report that we subsequently accessed of the Safdarjung Hospital, which again records the injuries which appear to be pellet gun injuries as far as that particular document is concerned. There are many others, at least 3 to 4 other individuals who have come out and said or claimed that they have pellet gun injuries, and that has acquired political dimensions as well. But leave aside the politics surrounding it. Is it really, acceptable that in the year 2026, pellet guns, something that is not used even in insurgency-prone areas of the country anymore, that is used outside the heart of the national capital at Parliament? Because one of the individuals claims that he has been blinded. We've seen the horror stories which have come out from Jammu Kashmir, where individuals have been blinded with the use of this pellet guns, while they are non-lethal, and the argument of those who use them is that it's better than firing actual bullets. The point is that the use of it in the national capital, and that too against what are considered student protesters. Of course, there would be lumpen and criminal elements who have infiltrated this protest. There's no denying that perhaps. But the point being made over here is that who has authorized this extremely sensitive decision? Right. At what level is this decision making happening? And why has the Delhi police not been clear on it? Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Even now, it's not too late. The Delhi police should just come on record and admit what has happened, because this is a controversy that is not going to go away. Citizens have a right to know what kind of equipment, what kind of ammunition was used against them.
Absolutely. Bhavtosh is also with us, and Bhavtosh was the first to break down these details. Bhavtosh has actually, accessed those entries that were made in the police's general diary, which was recorded at 1:24 a.m. at the Parliament Street police station. And now, Bhavtosh, there are going to be more questions after these details have now come to the fore that the use of pellets was in fact authorized by a DCP rank officer. Will the Delhi police come out and now clarify? There were denials initially, but now that the GD is in focus, will the Delhi police come out and make a fresh statement?
Yes, Arvind. In fact, adding to what Priyank and Madhav were saying, the Delhi police also needs to answer as to why they authorized the use of pellet gun. And remember, these are RA personnel who are on ground. They obviously would take directions from the Delhi police. And it was on the direction of the DCP that they used this pellet gun. As our colleagues were saying, the Delhi police continuously denied using the pellet gun, and not on one occasion or several occasions. And the entire claim was about stopped at RAF. Now it is now very clear that the GD theory mentions that on the direction of the DCP concerns that these pellet guns have been used. The matter is now pending before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court faces this. These pellet guns are completely banned in India. It has created a lot of controversies. The matter is now pending not only the Supreme Court, it has gone to the Parliament. Questions are being asked in both Delhi police as well as CRPF.
Absolutely. So from Parliament, from the political arena to the courtrooms, this issue is not going to die down, and this fresh revelation broken here by Times Now, broken here by Bhavtosh Singh, adds a completely new dimension to the story. For viewers joining us on this broadcast, a quick recap. What does the new revelation say? What does this general diary entry go on to reveal? One, it goes on to reveal that it was recorded at 1:24 a.m. at the Parliament Street police station, and as per the records of the Delhi police, on the directions of a DCP, the RAF personnel fired pellet guns as a part of crowd control measures. Apart from that, we also know there were 55 non-electrical shells, 15 electrical shells, 5 tear smoke grenades, and 2 ARG rounds and 2 PP rounds that were fired. Thank you so much, Bhavtosh, for breaking down those details. Thank you so much, Madhav and Priyank, for joining us on this broadcast. Time for us to take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more news and updates.